But first, it'll be a very different Liberal Party, clearly, depending on who emerges as the next leader. Already there are loud voices demanding that the Liberal Party adopt quotas for women, even though picking candidates on the basis of gender, not merit, is profoundly illiberal.
I'm not, calling for quotas. I'm demanding quotas at this point. I'm channeling some of the entitlement we see of some of our Liberal males who consistently ignore what needs to occur for this party to evolve.
Well, now too, there are equally loud voices demanding that the Liberal Party abandon its commitment to nuclear power, and worse, that it must embrace Labor's renewables-only energy policy. Consider the ads now playing on high rotation here on Sky, sponsored by a group calling itself Liberals Against Nuclear.
Sadly, it was a disappointing election. Multiple polls have shown it was nuclear policy that stopped 2 to 3% of voters supporting the coalition. Candidates that could have won narrowly didn't. It's time for the party to reject this nuclear policy and return to core Liberal values of fiscal responsibility and small government.
Authorised by Peta Credlin for Liberals Against Nuclear, Reesville.
Now, slick ads like that don't come cheap, and they're hard to put together in a hurry. The fact that they've appeared within days of the election defeat shows a degree of organisation and funding, obviously, from big wind and big solar that should not be underestimated. Here's some of the key quotes supporting Liberals Against Nuclear from their website. Turnbull, who's been doing his best to sabotage Liberal candidates and Liberal governments ever since he was ejected from the Prime Ministership, well, he's there. As Liberal leader, never forget, twice he tried to make the party embrace a Labor position on energy and emissions. And his son has been a big donor too to the Teals. But also there on the screen was Matt Keane. As Treasurer and Energy Minister, Keane was the architect of the former New South Wales government's stance on emissions that was even more hardline than federal Labor. Even before he left the Parliament, well, Keane had accepted Chris Bowen's offer to be the head of the government's Climate Change Authority. At the same time too, though, he was also working for a mob, and is working for a mob, that's hoping to make millions of dollars out of renewables. On the issue of climate and renewable energy, all the rent-seeking that's going on, these two turncoats are on a unity ticket with Labor and the Greens. So please see this for what it is, not an attempt to help the Liberal Party, but to change the Liberal Party, to make it, on this issue at least, indistinguishable from Labor, thus safeguarding the billions in subsidies flowing to the renewable energy industry. Key here too is one of the sector's biggest lobbyists. His name is Michael Photius, the shadow godfather who's long been the factional string puller for the moderates in the New South Wales Libs. And there's no doubt whose Photius candidate is in this Lib leadership race. His candidate is Susan Lee, whose pre-selection the faction stepped in to save before the 2022 election. Now, I'm sure Susan's her own person. I know her and I like her. Yet it's her allies that are demanding that the Libs drop their support for nuclear energy, and that to be taken seriously, so they say, the Libs now must have a woman as leader. Even though, let's not forget, Labor picked up a big whack of the female vote on Saturday night, and it's led by 2 men. And the fact too that the Liberals, well, they have had a deputy as a female in Lee, and that didn't save them. If promoted to the top job, Susan Lee will come under immense pressure from those moderate kingmakers to Me Too Labor's energy policy on the spurious grounds that we need to end the climate wars. We need to end the energy wars. Even though the Liberal Party has won every election where it's made climate and energy an economic issue rather than a moral one. Close in 2010, won in 2013, and of course 2019. In the election just gone, after courageously putting nuclear on the table, well, Peter Dutton failed to fight for it. On energy, it's not poor policy, but poor politics that's brought the Libs undone. What madness would it be for the Libs to embrace Labor's energy train wreck at the very time when no less than a person of a British Labor Prime Minister's standing in Tony Blair has declared that net zero is doomed to fail. At the very same time, left-wing parties in Europe, well, they're recommitting to nuclear power. And yet here in Australia, we're scared of our own shadow. Labor's energy policy, it simply will not work. This is about physics and engineering reality. We simply can't move from 60% reliance on coal today to 82% renewables in just 5 years' time. It's physically impossible. It's simply unaffordable, and it will kill our industry dead flat. Yet if the Libs meet to Labor's energy policy, they will end up then making excuses for its looming failure. Now, if you think things look grim now for the Liberals, supporting Labor's push to de-industrialise our country would make things even worse.